Hey gang, welcome back to another video. Now if you're anything like me, you use spray paint cans in a variety of projects in your shop, and as the temperatures start to fall, prepping those cans for use can take a bit longer than any of us would really like. So after being inspired by Aedo over at FabWorks channel and Shawn from Try to Finish Something, I've decided to make my own version of their spray paint can shaker that I think works better for how I like to work. So let's get to it. To get started, I need to gather a few things, starting with a 3" by 8" ABS pipe, a 3" pipe plug, a 2" 5/16 fine thread bolt, a 3000 RPM motor, and a momentary switch. The only thing missing is a box to put them all in. So with my measurements in hand and a rough idea of the size box I'd need, I went to one of my favorite websites, makercase.com, to help plan it all out. From their website, I can type in the dimensions of my box and it will automatically create it for me based on the size of my material, box type, and style of joinery. Then it outputs a file that I could modify in Adobe Illustrator to further customize it. You could just as easily make this box by hand, but since I clearly like my Glowforge and use it every chance I get, it was time to power it up and get to cutting. Then it's off to assembly. I'll use a bit of CA glue for the assembly and my 1-2-3 blocks to help hold everything in place and at a 90-degree angle during the glue up. While the glue is drying, it's time to work on the motor part of this build. I found this small 3000 RPM motor online and made a few custom parts to act as a mounting bracket for it inside my box. I've also added a 5/16 coupling nut to allow me to connect the 3" pipe plug to the motor. Once the mounting plates were connected, I inserted them into the openings I made in the box, and it was time to mount the 3" plug and ABS pipe to the motor. I removed the bolt that comes with the plug and replaced it with the 2" 5/16 fine thread bolt I mentioned earlier. This will allow me to connect the motor to the plug and eventually the ABS pipe that will hold the spray paint can. Next up is wiring the motor to the momentary switch. And rather than watching me fumble with the wires, here's a graphic to explain how I'll be controlling the spinner. I'll be sending 12-volt power into a speed regulator, which will allow me to control the speed of the motor. From there, the positive output is connected to one of the positive terminals on the momentary switch. The opposite positive terminal is then connected to the positive lead on the motor. The ground wire bypasses the switch completely and is connected directly to the motor using a small wire nut. When everything is wired up, pressing the switch will complete the electrical circuit and cause the motor to spin until I release the switch. With that out of the way, it's time to install the switch into the opening in the box, and then a bit more glue to make sure the seams of the box are secure. The last thing to do before we get to testing our work is to add in a bit of foam to help center up the spray can inside of the ABS pipe. I had some adhesive-backed weather stripping that I trimmed down and stuck to the inside. You could just as easily use a bit of 1/4" foam and hot glue if that's what you had on hand. And after a quick test fit, it was time to spin. Now I know this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but based on how I like to work and the space I have available, I think this fits just right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.